Well, hello and welcome and welcome and hello and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on this very special Sunday edition of Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. I have to, confess to a little mea culpa here. I don't normally get involved in these sort of short term momentum type of trades like the Game Stops and all these things because there's a lot of momentum. The problem is you don't know when the rug pull's coming, if it's coming. And when you jump into something based upon FOMO, that doesn't have any fundamentals behind it, you're just trying to time it. And whether you're timing the market for some short term couple days or even a couple hours of momentum, or you're timing the market to, swing trade it, IBD side, it's just not how I think about investing. I don't go into SoFi or Neo because, I want to sell the shares in, a couple days or a week. I want to hold those shares for years and years and years because I believe in the fundamentals and the management of the company that they're going to, achieve massive growth and, get to their intended margins over time, spin off massive free cash. That's how I think about investing. But once in a while, guys, you know, an opportunity kind of slaps you in the face, and that's what I saw with SMCI. Just took this, as you guys know, just sort of fell off a cliff based on the Hindenburg short seller report, and then of course it's given a lot of credence and validity by the fact that they immediately delayed their accounting filings with the SEC, and then Ernst and Young, their auditor, quit before they were able to turn in their books. What's up, DVD? Let's Poco. Go Beach Slayer. Yeah, I can't blame you throwing out that shirt. Good for you. Slimming down, man. I'm down to about a 3XL myself. Can't see me when I turn sideways these days. It's very unfortunate. But this is one of those plays. I just get this strong sense the stock's going up, to a $44 level before this rally runs out of steam. Does that mean I think you rush in and buy it? Absolutely not. You could play it a few ways. You could play it with options, but again, I have a huge risk tolerance. I'm willing to go into stocks that are pre-profit, go into stocks at the very lows that nobody wants to buy, basically go into stocks that are sort of discounted by the market for one reason or another. Now, the interesting thing about super microcomputer SMCI is that it's really a direct play on demand for NVIDIA's Blackwell chips because they build hardware and software solutions. They install those solutions, and they're just come out with a new product, and they're liquid cooled these servers so they can put a lot more chips in a lot less space, making it more efficient, less costly. And I don't know enough to know that the solution they've just introduced is the best of breed, but other people who I've asked are telling me, yes, this is because the key is that density. Can they cool it? How many can they fit in? Um, it just makes these data centers more efficient. And when you listen to NVIDIA, the demand for their Blackwell chips is only going to increase more and more over the next couple of years. And you hear the same thing from Elon Musk, like he's saying, hey, the demand you're going to see for NVIDIA is going to make all these NVIDIA investors, filthy rich. Tesla alone buys massive amounts of their chips. I don't think they're SMCI customers necessarily. I don't know. But the bottom line is this. I mean, this kind of goes one of two ways. Either we just don't know how bad the accounting scandal is. My sense is it's not, massive hidden losses and massive inflated things. My sense is it's more about a lack of controls, inappropriate, dual roles by certain management executive, lack of oversight by the board. A contentious relationship between auditors, between different members of management team. Um, But what you don't see, because the numbers they're putting out are, corresponding to the business they're doing, and their business activities are, profitable. So if this is mostly smoke and not a lot of fire, and it's something their new auditor can sort of get their head around, make the corrections, refile, and then, regather, you're probably going to see, the stock, fall back again. That's why I'm just calling this as, I wouldn't buy this stock long term. And that's why this is a total anomaly for me. But this is one of those instances where I'm looking at all of the signs, and I don't think this is done by any means. Now, when I see these momentum plays, there's a first wave, the early adopters, the people who sort of see this thing fall to 17, they're trying to play that dead cat bounce. They buy some calls, they buy shares off the bottom, whatever it is, and then momentum starts to pick up for that dead cat bounce. And sometimes what happens is it just doesn't stop, because I think right now that's because of how hot AI is everywhere, how hot NVIDIA is, the fact that the CEO of SMCI is personal longtime friends with the CEO of NVIDIA. I think CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen, has a tremendous amount of pull with the NASDAQ. I mean, they're obviously the biggest listing on the NASDAQ. I'm not saying that would directly affect things. I'm not saying anything inappropriate, any undue influence is being exerted, but I don't think it can hurt. When NVIDIA is specifically shouting you out, SMCI by name, you just don't get the sense that they're going to be delisted. And some of the very smartest people online are saying, even if they are delisted, it's not going to be really bad for the company. It could be good in the short term for investors, because, you lose a lot of the controls, you lose a lot of the guardrails when you basically go OTC, that are imposed by, the major indexes, or not the major indexes, but what do you call, like NASDAQ, NYC, major exchanges. I'm sorry, pardon me. But what should you do with this play? It just depends. Like, if you're one of these people that doesn't mind getting in and out of a stock in a few days, or playing some really aggressive calls, and then maybe when it gets to that $45 level, if it overshoots up to 50, maybe you short it from there. Because this is a market that overreacts to everything, particularly anything that says AI, particularly anything that says Hindenburg. The swings are crazy. But this is, 8x forward sales. This is less than, forward earnings. It's less than 1x current sales. They're going to have increasing demand. They have really good solutions. Their business activities are profitable. It's just a question of, do you think they can get their accounting in order? I mean, do you really know how bad it is? I don't. Nobody does. But how are they holding this thing down? Why do I think it's going to go back up? They're holding it down just through a ton of borrowing and shorting. I mean, and I'll show you that. Let me load the chart here. Basically, if you go back all the way to this little run that happened back in May 2003, and you go back to like the end of May 2003, the algo just has this locked on this line all the way out here until, what would this be? January 2024, where it starts this astonishing run all the way up to $123 or wherever it tops out from 30 in just a very short amount of time. Now, NVIDIA was making a similar insane run, but what do you see after this huge pump and dump? It works its way back down right to that same exact line. So the algo takes over again. Now, it throws it into this insane drop with the Hindenburg short report accounting difficulties. But then what do you see happen? What I see happening is this recovering back, and the algo just starting to work back on the same line that it's been working on for the last year and a half. I don't think anything fundamentally has changed about this business. Now, they might have to fire some people. Worst case scenario, somebody goes to jail, club fed for a couple months, and then retires with a couple $100 million. Oh, what a punishment. Send me to play paddle tennis for 6 months and then give me $100 million. Oh, no. Oh, the humanity. But the fact is, these algos these days, they just don't give up. They don't die like a Terminator. You could melt them in, molten metal. But guys, the volume, this is not how rallies end, okay? This is the first wave here, 198 million. This is a volume, 235 million. Then the shorts lock on, 105. It goes down. Now look at the short volumes. It starts out 50-50, okay, and then they just get up to 59, 61, 63, relents a little bit, 55, 55. They're holding it steady. And then just to hold 33, on Friday, they're borrowing. The short volume ratio is 60%. And you see the same thing reflected on the data from Ortex. Thursday net borrowing 9.5 million, Friday net borrowing 10 million shares. So very, very significant. And you see some broker, again, with negative cost to borrow. Average cost to borrow is only 1, which is unusual with heavy, heavy borrowing into a rally. You'd think those shares would get a lot more expensive, but they're not. So somebody's making a lot of them shares available, like them boys in Cutlery Corner. We're making the dagger, the Santoku available. You get a full dealer case on those. What is that? Is that a samurai sword? He's like, yeah, we always give away samurai swords, you dumb motherfucker. Anyway, my obsession with the guys from Cutlery Corner and late night knife sales goes back many, many decades. My fascination with those gentlemen. If we could get them on Unpoco Moss, hopefully Nautilurker can make that happen. Everybody is rightly shitting on this stock because, your auditor doesn't quit in the middle of your financials for no reason. They obviously lost confidence in what management was telling them, lost confidence in the internal controls, lost confidence in the data that was being presented to them by the company in some respect, or the relationships, personal relationships can sometimes break down because there's like a lead executive on their account in their audit. So, could have just been something like that where there was a lot of personal stuff involved. You don't know. You don't know the behind the scenes, but you like to think, the auditor does not quit for no reason. So it's not just smoke. There's some degree of fire here, but you just think, how bad is it? That's why I just wouldn't buy this stock long term. But on a momentum run to 44, you could make a hell of a lot of money really, really quickly. And that's why I say look back at the volume on Friday. So the short interest is the free float's already, they're saying 19%, shares on loan 115 million. That didn't go up from Friday yet, so that should be like 125 million. But then what do you see on Friday? You see volume pick all the way back up to 160 million. This is the second wave coming in because there's eyes on the stock. 99% of people didn't know this stock at all. It had made this big rally, and then it had just kind of been going, working, bleeding down and sideways. They've been algo stepping it back down toward that original line it was working on in 2023. Now all the eyes are on the stock. So you're seeing this second wave, the volume, the momentum traders, the bulls, the idiots, the stock twits guys, the Unpoco Moss crowd. They're piling in. Should you pile in? Probably not. Are you going to? Probably. Are you going to time it wrong and lose 99% of your money on some ill-advised calls? Yes. Why? Because you're weak and stupid. I don't know. Am I going to do the same thing along with you? Absolutely. Because I'm a bullish idiot. And that's what I do. I make strong moves. I don't make smart moves. I make strong moves. Believe me, those aren't the same thing. Confidence and, intelligence, prudence, very, very different. But I think there's a big hidden short on the stock. And I think if the bulls just keep pouring into it, the momentum could just go insane. Because remember, it wasn't that long ago. You just go back a year. I mean, this thing's hitting the 120s. So, I mean, just coming up to where the algo is, it should be up in another week to around 44 minimum. Could be more, could easily be more 51. So, this thing can easily move another 50 to 65% in the next week. It moved, I think, 90% last week. And again, the eyes are just getting on it. I mean, this gap, if you want to talk about gaps, I mean, that gap is right about the $47 level. Gaps don't always fill. I mean, there could be some other huge shoe drop, some regulatory filing that says, hey, you guys are complete dicks and we're kicking your asses right out of the NASDAQ and right back to Korea or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. And let me tell you, momentum doesn't care what's going to happen. Momentum is stupid. Momentum is impulsive. Momentum is your friend that thinks it's a good idea to have a few drinks and steal a car. Hey, man, I come visit you at college. Hey, let's steal a fucking car. I know you got a great future ahead of you, but I'm your old buddy from back home. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Where do you guys think this thing's going to go? Is anybody watching this horrible broadcast besides Gilgo Beach Slayer and DVD? Let's Poco and do DVD. Martin Shkreli also said this was a long. Dude, that guy's fucking smart. Now, I know he was trying to charge $1 million for insulin and stuff. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but he's pretty bright. I've seen his U-turd channel. And as far as U-turders go, he's not as dumb as most of us. Possible delisting. Is that a real risk, though? What happens when you're delisted? I mean, obviously, it's going to hit the stock in the short term, but you still own your equity. I understand the other people can't do what they do in terms of building out these data centers, but I might be wrong. Enjoy the Trump pump rally. Drink more water. It's bedtime for me. Hey, good night, man. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite your nuts. Lisa SH. Yes, it is. It's 16:15 on Hood at the moment. Night Beachy. Finally here. Yeah, play it. It's a gamble play. Yeah, it's a total gamble, guys. This is just one of those things. Is where does the momentum run out? It clearly hasn't run out yet. I mean, because it went up a lot on Friday, and they just stepped on it with everything they had, and they couldn't push it back down. Anytime they pushed it down into the high 32 range, I mean, the most they got was like 32.40, but the buying pressure was just immense. It's like, okay, you push from 33.40 down to 32.70. You don't expect just a mass of buyers to rush in, but they did. So this is just, everything's telling me this is not over. It's like Rambo said, nothing is over. They do first blood. You got to come in, John. You got to come in. He's like, fuck you, Troutman. Everybody's dead. Who's that guy who almost made it? But then he got Delmar Berry. Delmar Berry made it. He's like, oh, cancer got him. Anyway, First Blood was a good film. But so caught the stack, 2,200 shares, made a handsome profit. Yeah, I made some money last week. I just don't know. I don't know if it can do it again this week. This is why I call it the second wave. It's like for every guy that had eyes on the stock last Monday, now there's 100 guys who have eyes on the stock. So even if only 10% of people are as dumb as I am, that's still 10 times as many dummies that were buying the stock last Monday. 10 dummies for the price of one. That's a deal you can only get around the holidays, the high holidays. The company is diluting the stock, bro. The company is radical. Only thing stopping the stock is the news surrounding the stock. Where's the dilution? I didn't see news of dilution. Didn't catch it. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I just have no idea what's going to happen with this company. I'm just saying they're not going to be delisted over the next week. So if you could see a, 20, 30, 70, another 90% move over the next week, I don't see the buying pressure just going away overnight. Could it just be a massive rug pull? Could this all be a scam by market makers? I really don't think so. I don't see that here. I don't see the telltale signs of just the momentum fizzling, FOMO sucking people in at the top. I see market makers trying to get in on this rally, pushing this thing higher. I mean, I think they'll, suck people in at the top into a rug pull, but I just don't think, we're at that level yet. Time will tell. Time will tell, but I see this thing going to at least 44, maybe 52, and then there might be a huge rug pull. So I wouldn't be in this thing long term right now. I mean, I grabbed a few, leaps off the lows just because they were so cheap. I was like, what the hell? But just a few contracts. But I'm just doing this rarely, kind of this short-term momentum play on the fact that there's going to be a second wave coming into the stock. There's volume coming into the stock. It's a pure play on NVIDIA demand, which is just going completely through the roof. And a lot of people who missed NVIDIA, maybe you missed OpenAI, whatever it is, maybe you missed Tesla, maybe you missed a lot of these AI plays, Microsoft, Google. And a lot of these are, they're mature valuations. Microsoft's trading, I think it's 28x earnings. Broadcom, it's almost 50x earnings. I mean, this is difficult to buy stocks at those multiples because you feel like an asshole because you missed the run. Now, maybe it's smart to just go ahead and buy Microsoft rather than trying to play some foolish momentum play this week on SMCI like some big fat U-turder. Guys, but I employ the Tebadaki method, and I employ it without fear or favor. My godfather, Nisok Hedbandian, invented this technique, the only trading system in existence for portly and plus-size traders, gentlemen of generous proportions. And, I respect my elders. I respect Nisok Hedbandian. I respect the Tebadaki method. And he's telling me foolishly push a bunch of money into this stock this week. Cross your fingers. You're either going to get a nice cheeseburger or you're going to get a kick in the nuts. And either way, you go home at the end of the night sore. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any point to this video. I just wanted you guys to be aware of this thing. If it makes a huge move to the upside, don't say I didn't tell you. If it makes a huge move to the downside, feel free to call me a big fat idiot. I don't think it's going to go up 30 or 40% tomorrow, real wrap. But I think it could easily make another 10 to 15% move. Sold, what's up, Rich saying, how you doing? Sold 85% of my DOFA to 33, late October. I loaded up, then watched it fall, recover. So fun. Well, I mean, Rich, none of us can predict the future, man. You sometimes you sell something, it goes way up. You think you're cursed, or you're not. That missed filing is still very concerning, and changing auditors is not something. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Shane. It is a complete gamble. The momentum is not a gamble this week, though. I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at the volume. I'm looking at a lot of different factors. I'm looking at the news. I'm just feeling market makers really wanting to push this thing up. Guys, look at Max Payne. I mean, this is the volume. It's just a shit show. Edward Scissorhands, Scary Ghost, EKG motherfucker. But what I see is the puts are fucking weak. They're weak. I mean, there's more action on $50 calls than there are on almost any puts. I don't know, guys. I mean, Max Payne is 26.50, and I think they're going to get kicked right in the balls. But I think a lot of them are flipping long and, hedging. And that's where a lot of these calls are coming in. But on a cash basis, I mean, my God, where are we looking? So We're all the way down here. It's close, man, 26. So if the stock closes, if the stock were to close where I think it's 44, that's market makers theoretically losing $150 million. Now, they are on the other side of that trade, so it just doesn't work like that. Now, how they hold the price at 33, I mean, if you guys look at this chart, this is just the algo just holding it, borrowing 10 million shares, churning, dumping. It's not sustainable. This broker that's paying people, they're going to run out of shares. And it's going to happen quite quickly. If the volume increases more than it did, than it was on Friday, we get back up to like 200, 250 million shares. We get a second wave coming in, tons of eyes on the stock. Everybody that's missed the AI plays, everybody that's missed NVIDIA wants in. I mean, this thing could go absolutely insane. I've been building up my strength for this, guys. Doing sets. Oh yeah, feeling strong. So anyway, nobody's making any comments. Nobody's watching. Nobody's here. This video totally sucks. So here's just if you want a big bullish or big bearish perspective, I would read this on the Pulse guy. This guy's usually pretty smart, but it just gives you the basics. It gives what you guys are saying. It's just a ton of risk. The auditor quit. They can't file their financial statements. There's accounting fraud. Basically, it's everything bad. It's everything bad. There's a lot of reasons to buy this company, and there's a lot more reasons not to buy it. Because you're going to get your head pooped on. And unless you like that sort of thing, this is not the stock for you. Like I said, just take your money. You remember Dirty Harry, where the crazy like killer guy who's like shooting people from the roof goes and like pays that boxer, just beat the shit out of him, pays him to just, make it look really bad. You do that with your money. Just want to get the shit kicked out of you. You don't need to go broke. You don't need to go home and tell the missus you lost the rent money. Don't buy this stock, guys. I mean, I'm going to buy it. But again, I'm stupid and I like risk. And I'm using the Tebedaki method. Did I tell you guys I'm selling the course, the Tebedaki method? Oh boy. So could we talk about NEO as well? Sure, we could talk about NEO BX. What do you want to talk about? I assume they're shitting on it in the Hang Seng like they always do. Joke's on you. I like it. Yeah, I mean, Shane, you don't build wealth. Sometimes these momentum plays, you make a big score. Yeah, so they're doing exactly what we thought they do. It popped up like 5% in Hong Kong and heavy volume, and then the algo is just locked on, is just trading it down. It's up 3%. So it's basically tracking below, I think, where it was on Friday in the United States as far as NEO. So yeah, we might discuss them a little bit later. But as far as this video, it's definitely running out of steam, and it's definitely a massive turd. So just like us, everything bad. Yeah, Lisa SH, no. There's a lot to like here, guys. They have a best of breed solution to implement the NVIDIA Blackwell chips. Nobody can touch these chips for years. You just have to expect their revenues are going to increase quite rapidly. Now, are these fake numbers? That's hard to say. I mean, if you look at the revenue versus earnings, you see just over the last 4 quarters that they've actually been able to state revenues going from like 2 billion, 2.2 billion, 3.66, 3.85, and then all the way up to 5.31. So their revenue is, way more than doubled in a year. And then they're actually, making money. So they're on pace. If you see, hey, the last couple quarters, 300 million, 400 million, 350 million in GAAP net profit. If those are true profits, they'd be on pace, obviously, to make like $1.5 billion in GAAP net profit. And then, the market cap is just less than that. So, or it was. Now it's probably higher. It's gone up to 19 billion. But the point is, revenues were already 15 billion. So it's just, if you take the accounting irregularities and scandal and all that uncertainty away, obviously it's just absurdly undervalued. I mean, this should be at least probably an $80 stock, $90 stock, $120 stock. In this market, you could see it being a $200 stock quite easily, with all the just insane AI hype. But their margins are getting squeezed. Their revenues are getting squeezed. There's a lot of competition from some of the bigger players, Dell, HP. So if you want that perspective, definitely read this article. But I don't want anybody to rain on my parade. I like to live in a thought bubble where I have absolutely no use for critical thinking, and I just want to be in an echo chamber that amplifies my own biases and confirms those biases so that I can move forward foolishly without questioning my assumptions or faulty logic or anything like that. Just makes life a lot more simple. What's up, Billy Jack? Billy Jack's ears were ringing. What's up, DVD? See you. Have a good night. I'll be doing treasury. So as a wiener, 10-bagger bust. So yeah, absolutely. What's up? Neo gonna buy Danny a visit from the Geek Squad to plug in that Ethernet in my Neo gains. Yeah, dude, I'm not plugging in that shit, man. I'm just building my strength, dude. I was doing 4-count burpees earlier. No, I wasn't. So anyway, guys, I think this video is over. It was a complete piece of crap. But it's Un Poco Mas. Yeah, it's I don't know, guys. This could be a second wave stock. It could be a third wave stock. It could easily fill that gap, run right back up to 44 to 52, and then there could be a big rug pull. But if you can time it and you can get out, you can make a tremendous amount of money. But you would be extremely, extremely stupid and foolhardy to attempt to do so. But I am going to attempt to do just that. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. The stock is SMCI or whatever, Super Micro Wing. I know the shorts can relate to that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. It's Danny Deals, Toon Poco Moss. I want to thank my moderators weren't here, so let's not thank them. I'll thank Billy Jack. I'll thank DVD. I'll thank Shane. I'll thank you guys, BX, Lisa, Real Rap, Joseph Leone. It's up $2 on Robinhood overnight. Yeah, man, I'm not surprised. Like I said, there's just a tremendous amount of momentum coming into the stock. Don't be surprised if it gaps up to about 35, but I'm telling you, 44, it's coming. 44 Magnum. I don't know what to do with it, guys. It's like a bucking bronco. It's like a wild horse. You try to harness that energy. You try to, ride the momentum, but it can also bite you in the ass, because if you're just a little bit late, you time it just a little bit wrong, you're going to get crushed. So you're going to get wrecked, as Strongman says. So if you go in, just watch it very carefully. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch stocks like this. But if you're comfortable really paying attention closely and timing the market, this thing could be the momentum trade of the year, momentum trade of and then some. So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. It's Un Poco Moss, it's Danny Deals. You guys have a great night, and we'll have to see what this turd does in the morning. Until then, sleep tight, turds. Bye-bye.